We need to talk about everybody's favorite thing, budgeting. Everyone needs to budget. It's one of the most important financial habits that you can do. But if you've never lived on a budget or you haven't experienced, you know, all the benefits that budgeting has offered, it's easy to, wonder why it's such a prominent aspect of personal finance. Why is it such a big deal? Why is it so important? Well, let's dive into that. Let's start off with those spending habits you got. Because budgeting is going to help you keep those in check. Because let's be honest, when you operate your finances without a budget, you're not really going to have anything holding you back from spending more than you make. That's what they call spending beyond your means. Sure, you might have a general idea about how much money you can spend each month, but without like accurate numbers, like looking at them, right? It's easy to lose control of your spending habits. Let's think about it. Going out to eat, taking those weekend trips, right? Without a budget, it's hard to correlate your daily spending to your less than optimal financial situation. Sure, buying one lunch, out to eat every now and again doesn't feel like a big deal in the moment. But let's say when you sit down with a budget and you add up the cost of, say, you go into Chipotle 20 times in a month. Yeah, those seemingly insignificant lunch bills add up to being way too much, right? So, budgeting's important if you want to keep a close eye on your daily spending habits, understand the impact of those seemingly itsy bitsy small expenses, $5, $10 here and there. Take control of your spending. Well, if you're going to take control of your spending, you need to understand that budgeting is also going to keep you on track for those financial goals that you have for yourself. Right? Because along the same lines of controlling your spending, budgeting is important to keep you on that track to achieve those goals. Right? When you can control your spending, right, you'll be able to focus on going straight towards those goals and achieving them. Be honest, setting a goal, super easy. Anyone can set a goal. You just think of something you want to achieve, and then set a defined timeline to achieve it. Here's the thing, though. Setting goals and actually achieving your goals, two different things completely. In order to achieve a goal, you need to stick to a plan. Stay focused on a clearly defined process, and where having a budget is so important, there you go. Now you know. Do a budget, you can, reverse engineer your goals. Develop a clearly defined process to achieve them. In essence, when you create a budget, you're setting boundaries on your financial behavior so that you can stay on track and achieve every goal you set for your life. And, another thing that kind of like the flip side of setting those financial goals, you don't want to be overwhelmed, like financially overwhelmed. Budgeting can help with that too. Right? Budgeting is going to help you from feeling just financially just exhausted. Right? Because if there's one thing in particular that doesn't mix well with being overwhelmed, it's personal finance. Right? I've never met anybody that enjoys feeling overwhelmed. Have you? Probably not. So I think it's fair to say that feeling overwhelmed it kind of sucks. It's awful. Good news though. One of the best ways to combat being financially overwhelmed, right? Budget. Be on a budget. That way, you never spend beyond your means. You're always well prepared for unexpected expenses, and fewer things have the ability to come out of nowhere and just freak you out and, just ruin a whole situation. So, again, don't be financially overwhelmed. Make a budget. You'll be ready. Or, what if you're in debt? Well, budgeting can help you avoid or even get out of debt. So we talk a lot about the negative effects of debt, right? And I'm not gonna tell you how if it's good, because for most people, that's not very good for most people. It's really not, right? Not until you really understand. But that's down the road, right? That's when you're in a better financial situation. Now, it's really this simple. If you want to have money, build wealth, then you need to stop spending it on things you can't afford. In particular, you need to stop hindering your monthly income by using a large portion of it to pay somebody else back, with or without interest, for things you couldn't afford in the past. That's why budgeting is so important. It can help get you out of debt, or plan your finances so that you can save and pay cash for these big purchases and avoid debt in the first place. Right? Debt is not very good for most people. And I know I keep repeating this and it sounds, like a broken record, but for the average person, debt is not good. Get out of debt, stay out of debt, right? I'm sure you've heard Dave Ramsey on hundreds of different, shorts or clips or videos where he talks about how terrible debt is. And yes, for the average person, debt's awful. Get out of it, stay out of it, don't do it, right? Now, last but not least, budgeting is going to help you not only get ahead, but stay ahead. Okay? So after everything we've talked about, might be a little obvious, but budgeting, helping you get to where you can make life a little bit easier, right? Start getting ahead and then get further ahead and stay ahead, right? Beyond that, living on a budget can help you finally build that financial life you always imagined, you always dreamed of, right? The cars, the jewelry, the nice clothes, the shoes, the trips, just all of these things that you've wanted to do, right? Now, to be clear, even I have experienced what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck, right? Have 20, 30,000, $40,000 in debt, barely making ends meet, right? Barely getting by. I remember, a time where after I paid all my bills off, I barely had the money to eat, right? And it is awful, right? It can be super stressful. You're always thinking about it, wondering, how much more do I have to work to make sure I can eat this month or this week, right? It's always on your mind. You're always thinking about what more can I do? What more can I do? Budget. Now, on the other hand, I know what it's like to escape that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, right? Have that little financial cushion, right? Budgeting. And if it wasn't for budgeting, I probably never would have gotten to that point, right? Where I don't have all this debt, where I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. And I can, in fact, have some nice things. So, to put it in the simplest terms, if you want to get ahead in your life financially, guess what? It's time to budget. So, take all this information, boil it down to one sentence. If you're not on a budget, get on a budget. It's that simple. Look at your finances, budget everything out, see where your money is going, and fix the problems where you're spending too much money, right? It's going to help you so much. So if you're not on a budget, get on a budget. I promise it will do you wonders, right? If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, appreciate it if you did. But till I see you guys in the next one, y'all be safe.